Hey everybody, Logan here. So today's video, I decided to put a little compilation together because I've been getting a plethora of different questions about what controller for the Xbox is better for this price or that price. A lot for under $50 basically are the questions that I've been getting. So I'm like, you know what? Instead of, I want to address every single comment, but sometimes it's just too overwhelming. So I decided to come up with a list, and I put together this of all the controllers I've reviewed, the best Xbox controllers that are under $50. When I mean under $50, $49.99 still counts, so it's $50 and under. But for ease's sake, we're going to say under $50. $49.99 still counts. So I've pulled out my favorites from 4 different brands, and those I think would probably be the best for the Xbox because those are the ones that I've had the best experiences with. So, how about we get into it? Alright, so first brand we're going to take a look at, and I'm going to show you the listings on their websites instead of me digging out every single controller and showing you all the differences between all the controllers, because then this video will be 2 years long, and I'd rather just keep it to the point. So first one we're going to cover is, well, Hyperkin. Hyperkin makes a lot of great retro-inspired controllers, as well as, you know, other ones such as the competitor, which are, I guess you could say, a mishmash of Xbox and PlayStation. So the 3 that I would definitely recommend are all at the price point of $49.99. I already mentioned the first one, that is the competitor. That is the PlayStation style DualSense, if you will, controller for the Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, and it basically gives you that grip and that with the sticks on the same plane, Hall effect, all that other good stuff for the Xbox if you like that style of controller. Otherwise, it's going to be the Xenon or the Duchess. The Xenon is the Xbox 360, retro-inspired, considering it's almost identical, and it is all these are officially licensed by Xbox as well. And you've got the Xenon, which is the Xbox 360, and then I would say the Duchess, which is the original Xbox S controller. So those are fantastic controllers. The only one that doesn't have the Hall effect sticks would be the Xenon, because that was launched before they started going Hall effect on all their controllers. But if you like the feel of that Xbox 360 controller, it is a fantastic controller. I used it for quite some time, but the thing is, one thing I'm going to tell you, all these controllers I've used, probably the most I've gotten use out of any of them is about a month, because I test so many of them. It's hard for me to stick with just one. There are a few that have become my go-to, but they're the big boys, the wireless, the top of the line. But in terms of these more value-oriented ones, I've seen promise out of everything on this list. So for Hyperkin, those would be the 3. Next, we're going to do one of the more popular brands out on the market that everybody knows and loves, and that's GameSir. GameSir is one of these companies that just kind of came out of nowhere a few years ago and hit the scene with the G7 controller, G7 SE, and that is definitely here. That is on average, $44.99 controller. Now, you can get it on Amazon on sale or whatnot. You can find it. If I'm not mistaken, they even have different variations of different retailers, but I would go with the GameSir G7 SE, the GameSir G7 HE, which is just a mechanical version, if you will, of the SE. And I think it's a fantastic controller if you like that mechanical style. Now, that one is a little more expensive. It is $49.99. Otherwise, I would say the value one is the T7. The T7 is at entry level, still has Hall effect, no fancy trigger locks or flappy paddles or anything like that. And that one is at $29.99. For those of you who know GameSir, but you're saying, why aren't you saying the T7 Pro? Why? Because mine broke, and I used it very little. The trigger locks, the mechanisms, push into the controller. They broke, they weren't secured correctly, and then I've noticed other people having different problems with their T7 Pros, mainly construction, how it's built, and it's not standing the test of time compared to the G7 controllers. So that's why I'm not recommending that one. I can't wholeheartedly, knowing that I used it very little and it's already broken. I can't adjust the trigger locks. So I would say G7, $29.99, solid entry level. The big boy that everybody loves, that the value, that's just the performance is all there, the G7 SE, and then if you want the one step up, the G7 HE with mechanical. There we go. Next is a little known company. No one has any of their controllers. That's 8BitDo. 8BitDo has a plethora of Xbox controllers, and honestly, I had to go through and think which ones were my absolute favorite, and I had to look at the price, and I would say it would have been the Ultimate C and the Pro 2. The Pro 2, again, is that PlayStation-esque style layout. It looks like a mishmash between the Super Nintendo controller and the PlayStation controller, and then they just kind of and had an Xbox controller. That's kind of what happened. So if you like that style, it's a fantastic controller. All of these now have Hall effect sticks. There were older versions of different controllers that did not have Hall effect, but now everything that 8BitDo puts out has either Hall effect or TMR, depending on what level you're buying. These two both have Hall effect sticks. Just make sure when you're purchasing it online, you get the newer versions that do have a little circular icon that say Hall effect. So Ultimate C, you're looking at around $35 on Amazon, so it's pretty inexpensive. And the Pro 2 average price is $49.99, but if I'm not mistaken, as of recording, you can get it for as low as $42, but depending on when you're seeing this, those can change. 8BitDo does not list the prices on their website. You have to go to their store. Depending on the region you're in, prices will change, but within the US, I usually tell people head to Amazon. You'll usually get a better deal, and they're not going to be expensive almost at any time. These are always on sale unless you're getting the brand new ones, the higher end ones. Completely different story. But for that under $50 mark, those two definitely are fantastic choices. Now, the final ones. This was tough for me because, well, it's PowerA. I've liked a lot of their offerings, but I was thinking, what are the best under $50? And they have quite a few. And I was like, some of their less expensive ones don't have Hall effect sticks, so I can't really say they're the best. So I narrowed it down to two different ones, and they're very similar, but one has a feature that the other one doesn't. So you've got the Advantage and the Advantage Plus. Identical, except for one feature on the Plus, you have heightening sticks. So you can twist, make the sticks longer or shorter depending on what you like. And right now, according to their website, they're the same price. So you're looking at $44.99 for either of them. I've seen them as low as $39.99 and less on Amazon. Usually you can go into a Walmart and find them anywhere between $39 and $44, depending on the color scheme you get. Now, they do have different colorways that do make it go up in price a little bit, but you're looking at an average of $44. But with Hall effect sticks and, well, the adjustment on the Plus, I usually go with that. And there is one, I actually have two different versions that I've been using off and on here and there throughout the years, depending on what I'm playing. I'll swap back and forth. I have a Sonic the Hedgehog one, and then I have, I have the one with those weird flowers on it. It was one of the first ones. It was one that PowerA sent me from that line, and you know what? Actually, I kind of like it. It's got a nice paint job, and it's held up very, very well. Again, like I said, I use all these controllers for roughly around a month or as much as I can while I'm reviewing another one. I try to get in at least a month's worth. I used to do a week, and I just felt like that just didn't do enough justice for these controllers. I pushed it to 2. Now I try to get it about a month, unless, you know, it requires a bit more. And then sometimes if it's junk, well, it's junk, and I use it one time, and I'm like, I can't use this. But these controllers from these 4 brands are probably, in my opinion, as a guy who's reviewed them and covered them all, these are the best that you're going to get for that $50 or a less price tag, especially these days with RAM prices and hardware prices and everything going through the roof, straight to the moon, if you will. that's probably going to be your best bet. Now, I've listed in this video, you have been able to see some of the listings from either the website or Amazon or whatnot, but there are plenty of different colors depending on what you like. So you got quite a few different variations. If you don't like one, there's another option out there for you. But I would definitely recommend, I hope I gave you enough. So depending on what features you like, what styles you like, what companies you like, there's something out there for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video, and if there is a controller that you think is great that I did not add, drop it in the comment section below. Let me know. Maybe I haven't reviewed it, but there's a good chance I probably have. But I'm going to say this list was from my experience, the best you can get under $50. Again, thank you again. Hit that subscribe button. God bless each and every one of you. Like what I always say, be legendary. Thanks again.